It's been a heck of a week. The reality of what we're all going through has certainly, I think, struck home for most of us. And yeah, the loss of John Prine earlier in the week. There was just something about him, and like I wrote, I think earlier in the week. For those of us out of the Midwest, there was something about him and Stevie Goodman that those of us who were starting to sing in coffee houses and around Milwaukee, Chicago, Madison, up into Minneapolis. They were kind of our guiding stars. And now both Stevie and now John are gone. So I've been trying to deal with that, and then dang if today an old old partner in crime, O'Donna Ramsey. We lost her. And that's one of those in this cyber world where you can find out about stuff sometimes I think faster than you need to. Or let's put it this way, there ain't no padding. Early in the morning, got a post from O'Donna, which was not unusual, other than she said, "I'm at the ER and I'm in great pain." And there were a bunch of us. I mean, it was on Facebook, so a bunch of us saw it. Next thing I knew, she was gone. O'Donna and I worked together at the Coalfield Progress. Actually, I was at the Post and she was at the Coalfield. And I've written about this, so if you want to look at my page, you'll see what I wrote. But losing O'Donna is one of those things. I think Prine, everybody who was connected at all with singing and songwriting knew who John was and what he was. O'Donna only in this area was O'Donna really kind of appreciated. And appreciated in a lot of different ways. And there'll be plenty of time for stories. I'm not going to dwell on that. What I thought I'd do, because frankly, I need to lighten things up a little bit. So I'm going to tell you all a story. And it'll have props. Long, long time ago. Oh, I should preface this is kind of keyed by today people start putting up their senior pictures from high school. And I pitched in. And then I was looking at, just looking at pictures. And there was the picture of me about 6 months later. Now, this is 1970. Just graduated from high school. Now, I was a bit old for my class. I was one of the babies born 10 days too late. So I was 19 when I graduated. And 6 months later, found myself at the University of Wisconsin Eau Claire. Back then, it was Wisconsin State University Eau Claire. And I lasted, I'd say probably 3 weeks in the dorm, maybe 4, of my maiden semester, freshman in college. And I got tied up with some folks. Let's just put it that way. And there'll be lots of this story. They're never going to make it to Facebook. Let's just put it that way. The year is 1970. I am 19 years old and got myself a room, a little house down on Water Street in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. 609 Water Street. And I'm going to make this a little short because otherwise it'll go on for days. But anyway, it was what you probably would imagine, a house full of people who were, let's put it this way, we were all maybe just a little alternative. And at that period of time, that could mean a lot of things. Roger lived in the basement, and Roger was the senior member of the crew. And then Phil Williamson and his girl. And boy, I hate to say I've forgotten so many of the names, so I'm not even going to try. But we developed something that was built out of something like kind of what's going on now. There's a certain amount of boredom and no money, so we had to kind of invent our own entertainment. Well, that being said, and yeah, like I said, we were probably not necessarily your normal, everyday uh, college students. We came up with an idea, and that idea first had something to do with this here instrument. And I'm going to bring it up there so you can see it. Some of you might know what this is. Not many of you will see one like this anymore because this is probably close to 50 years old. In fact, it may be the original. And it is a kazoo. And we would play music. So you've heard one of these before. There's commercials on them right now. Well, being the somewhat creative individuals that we were, we thought, well, how can we take this instrument and broaden its capabilities? So, we didn't have a lot around the house, but we did have some things that just about everybody has at least some of, and one of which is the now treasured toilet paper roll. Well, in the center of that toilet paper roll, you see right there, there is a cardboard implement. Actually, for us, it became the genesis of a band. Because we didn't just call them the interior of a toilet paper roll, it was what was known as a dirter. And the reason being that you could go like this and go dur 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 dur. Now, I might as well get this out of the way. This is actually a soprano dirter with a mute. Well, again, we had our teeny tiny implements of destruction known as kazoos. You could put a kazoo. And that was the beginnings of a period of time of invention that then produced what was known as the soprano dirter, whereupon it spurred on some more creativity and a little bit of, I would imagine there was a frosty beverage or two that contributed, or something, you never know, to the broadening of the instrument range. And this here is a tenor dirter. Well, anyway, then, of course, the big gun came out. And this would be a baritone dirter. So there you have 3 different instruments, actually 4 different instruments. And I wouldn't call it the reed, but the driving force. And what the genesis of all of this inventiveness was we formed a band. It was called the 609 Water Street Kazoo and Dirter Band. Whereupon we would go down to our favorite watering hole there on Front Street in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which was rather descriptively known as the Joint. And we could hold forth with our kazoos, dirters, and an occasional guitar, Jew's harp, and anything else anyone else drug along. And let's put it this way, we lived. Nobody killed us. And we were considered a bit of a curiosity there in Eau Claire, Wisconsin in 1970, 71. I was actually working with a band at the time called Fox, which later became a band in Wisconsin known as Snowblind. And we did quite a bit of touring. I was more of a sound band / fill-in when anyone couldn't make it type of semi-employee of the band, which in 1970, I can't even tell you what that might entail. Anyway, so it's been that kind of week. And I've got some, we can laugh. And one thing that is true is there's been an amazing amount of creativity that I've seen. There's an energy, folks, that we are all experiencing. I think part of it is a little bit of fear. I think part of it is kind of boredom that produces the 609 Water Street Kazoo and Dirter Band. Part of it is just plain old creativity. Well, this has been a hard week. So I'm going to end it